life. And so he doesn't want Adam and Eve to eat from that tree. I mean, my goodness, he's saying we can't do that. But let's finish it.
They will live forever.
They'll live forever.
So the Lord God banished them from the Garden of Eden, and he sent Adam out to cultivate the ground from which he had been made. After sending them out, the Lord God stationed mighty cherubim to the east of the Garden of Eden, and he placed a flaming sword that flashed back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life.
Wow. So he banished them from the Garden of Eden, so they could never go back in there again. And he stationed cherubim to the east of the Garden of Eden and placed flaming swords that flashed back and forth, so they couldn't get to the tree of life. I mean, I would have just been so devastated. And I'm thinking to myself right now, I would have really been mad at Eve. I would have really been mad at her if she had done all of that. And then Adam, he's going to have trouble farming the land. It says it'll grow thorns and thistles for you, though you will eat of its grain. It says, by the sweat of your brow you will have food to eat until you return to the ground from which you were made. My Lord. I mean, everything was paradise. Everything was all good. Everything was just wonderful. And then the serpent came along and said, girl, you need to come on over here and eat some of this fruit. And she did it. She did it. What in the world? I believe that humans we become complacent after a while. We start feeling like, oh, that's always going to be there. We don't have to worry about that. That's exactly what happened to Eve. She started getting complacent about being in the Garden of Eden and about being married to Adam and just having a wonderful life, being in paradise, and started taking it for granted. So here comes some serpent, saying, you need to eat from this tree so you can be just like God. You don't have to do what God says. You can be just like him. And see, that's how the devil got excavated, or what's the word I'm looking for? Evicted. That's how the devil got evicted from heaven, trying to be just like God. Can't nobody be like God. Can't nobody be like the Almighty. Are you serious? We cannot. But you know what? That's one thing that we do about imitating people. We want to be like somebody. We see somebody, we want to be like them, because that's the highest form of flattery, trying to be like somebody. So I imagine that God said, oh, that's cute, but we couldn't be like God if we wanted to. I mean, God knows everything, the beginning, the end, and everything in the middle. We don't have that kind of knowledge. We don't have the kind of knowledge that'll let us know you have to do this because that happened back. God's got the history, so he can make informed decisions on what we do. Hey, Prophetess Jennifer. So God can make informed decisions on what we do. So we can't be like God. We can't make those decisions like God. I mean, it reminds me of I think it was King Solomon, that the two women came to him and was saying, hey, the two women came to him and said that, this is my baby, and the other woman said, no, this is my baby, and they're going back and forth about whose baby it is. Then here's King Solomon said, just cut the baby in half. Who makes a decision like that? Only God can tell Solomon to make a decision like that. So the baby really belonged to would say, oh no, don't cut the baby in half. Let that person have the baby. Because she was the real mother. The other person was probably like, yeah, cut it in half, you know. But the real mother was like, no, let that person have the baby because I don't want the baby to die. Those are the kinds of decisions that only God can make because he knows everything.